All right, let's dive into another deep dive. This time, we're taking on day trading for a living. Sounds pretty intense, right?
It's funny. When I first picked up this book, I thought, oh boy, here we go, another get-rich-quick scheme.
Yeah, there are a ton of those out there.
But this one, it's actually pretty different. It's not all about Lambos and yachts. It dives deep into the nitty-gritty, the discipline, the risk.
So more like, get rich slowly but smartly.
Something like that. It really emphasizes understanding the market, having a solid plan, and controlling your emotions.
Well, that's a relief. I think a lot of people have this fantasy that day trading is all about making a quick buck, but it sounds like this book is saying it's more about strategy and mental toughness than anything else.
Absolutely. And one of the first things it does is lay out what day trading really is and what it is not.
Right, because I think a lot of people confuse trading with investing. Those terms get thrown around interchangeably, but they're actually very different beasts, aren't they?
Totally different. Investing, that's like a marathon, right? Steady and slow, riding out the ups and downs. Day trading, on the other hand, the book calls it guerrilla warfare.
Guerrilla warfare, that's an interesting analogy.
It's all about quick, targeted strikes, aiming for smaller profits, but minimizing your risk.
I love that. So you're not trying to conquer the whole market. You're just looking for those specific opportunities where you can make a calculated move.
Exactly. And what's really interesting, the book argues that you, as an individual trader, might actually have a few advantages over those massive institutions.
Wait, really? How can an individual trader compete with Wall Street with their algorithms and billions of dollars?
Well, you're more agile, right? You can move faster, adapt quicker. You don't have the same regulations and red tape to deal with. And you can be more patient, wait for the perfect setup.
So it's about using your nimbleness to your advantage. But let's be real, the market's a wild place, especially with all the algorithms and high-frequency trading going on. How does the book address that?
Right, high-frequency trading, or HFT, it's definitely a major force. But the book says those algorithms, they're not invincible.
Oh, you mean we can outsmart the machines?
Maybe not outsmart, but we can understand them, identify their limitations, and maybe even exploit them.
Okay, now I'm really intrigued. Give me an example.
Well, there's a great story in the book about the Buy the New Low program. Remember the Lehman Brothers collapse back in 2008?
Oh, wow. During the financial crisis. That was a crazy time.
This program was supposed to automatically buy stocks as they hit new lows, trying to capitalize on a downturn. But when Lehman went under, chaos.
So the program just kept buying and buying even as the market was crashing.
Yep, it was a total disaster. It just shows that even the most sophisticated algorithms can't predict everything.
So adaptability is key, right?
Yeah.
You need to be able to read the market, adjust your strategies, and not rely solely on some program.
Exactly. You got to be flexible, think on your feet. And that leads us to another important concept from the book, stocks in play.
Okay, I like the sound of that. Stocks in play. It's like finding the hottest spot in the market, right?
You got it. These are the stocks that are moving, making headlines, the ones with the big price swings. And they're moving because there's a catalyst, something driving that action.
Like what? Give me some examples.
Oh, there are tons. Major news announcements, surprise earnings reports, FDA approvals, big contract wins.
Oh, I see. So it's about finding those stocks that are breaking away from the pack and understanding why they're doing it?
Exactly. But the book goes even further and categorizes these stocks in play. It looks at things like float and market cap.
Float and market cap. I'm not really familiar with those terms.
Float is basically how many shares of a stock are available for trading. A smaller float usually means bigger price swings. And market cap is the total value of the company's shares.
So it gives you a sense of the company's size and how news might impact the stock price.
You got it. It's not just about finding any stock that's moving. It's about finding the right one for your trading style. And that brings us to the essential rules for success that this book lays out.
Okay, hit me with those rules. What are the golden nuggets of wisdom for aspiring day traders?
Well, there are 6 rules in total, but the one they really hammer home is risk management.
Risk management, yeah, that makes sense. You don't want to lose your shirt chasing those quick profits.
Exactly. The book says you should never risk more than 2% of your total trading capital on any single trade. They have a funny analogy. They say, don't risk more than you'd spend on a carton of milk.
Okay, I like that. Even if I'm not a big milk drinker, I get the point. Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly. Spread that risk around. And the next big rule is discipline. Sticking to your plan, not letting emotions take over.
It's easy to get caught up in the excitement, right? But the book is saying you need to have the discipline to stay focused on your strategy.
Absolutely. And that leads to the third rule, emotional control. Day trading, it's a roller coaster.
Yeah, I can imagine. Big wins, big losses, all happening really fast.
You got to keep a cool head. And that's one of the things that makes day trading so challenging. The book talks about the difference between how retail traders, folks like us, operate versus the big institutional traders.
Oh, that's interesting. So what's the difference? Do those institutional traders have some sort of secret weapon when it comes to emotions?
Well, they have a system, right? Teams of people, risk management rules. They're not making decisions based on individual emotions.
So it's more like a machine, a well-oiled machine designed to minimize those emotional swings.
Exactly. And the book has this crazy story about a trader named Brian Hunter who lost billions because he kept doubling down on a bad trade.
Billions. Wow. Okay, that's a cautionary tale for sure.
It's all about keeping those emotions in check, knowing when to cut your losses, when to walk away.
So we've got risk management, discipline, emotional control. Those seem like the cornerstones of successful day trading, according to this book. But I'm also curious about the practical side of things. What are the actual tools and strategies that day traders use?
That's where things get really interesting. The book calls it building your arsenal. It's about equipping yourself with the right weapons to win this game.
Okay, I'm ready to gear up. Tell me about these weapons. What are the tools of the trade?
First of all, you need a good trading platform, something reliable, fast, with real-time data.
Right, speed is everything in this game.
Absolutely. And you need a good order execution system, things like hotkeys, so you can enter and exit trades quickly.
Hotkeys. Sounds kind of intense.
They're all about speed and precision. But it's not just about the platform. You also need to understand the data.
Right, because data is king in the world of day trading, isn't it? So what kind of data are we talking about?
Well, the book really emphasizes NASDAQ Level 2 data. It gives you a real-time view of the order book, the bid and ask prices from different traders.
So it's like seeing the pulse of the market, right? You can see where the buyers and sellers are, anticipate price movements.
Exactly. And the book explains how to interpret all that data, how understanding those bid-ask spreads can give you an edge.
This is fascinating stuff. But I gotta admit, it's a lot to take in. It's like drinking from a fire hose of information.
It can be overwhelming. And the book doesn't sugarcoat the risks, especially when it comes to using margin and leverage.
Margin trading. That's where you're basically borrowing money to amplify your gains, but also your losses, right?
Right. It's high risk, high reward. The book cautions against using it recklessly, but it can be a powerful tool when used strategically.
So it's about knowing when to use that tool and when to leave it in the toolbox. It's not about gambling, it's about calculated risk.
You got it. And once you've got your tools in place, your platform, your data feeds, your risk management plan, you're ready to dive into the world of day trading strategies.
Okay, now we're talking. Strategies. This is what I've been waiting for. What are some of the techniques that day traders use to find those winning trades?
The book covers a whole bunch of them, but there are a few that really stood out to me, like the ABCD pattern.
The ABCD pattern, what's that all about?
It's a classic strategy for identifying buy and sell points based on the price action of a stock. They use an example with Ocean Power Technologies, a company whose stock surged on news of a big contract.
So it's like a pattern that repeats itself in the market.
You could say that. The book shows you how to spot it and capitalize on it.
But there are other strategies too, right?
Oh, yeah. There's the bull flag momentum trade. It's all about jumping on board a stock that's trending upwards, riding that momentum wave. Use an example with RIGL, a biotech company.
Momentum trading, that sounds exciting. Catching that wave and riding it as far as it will go. But you got to know when to jump off before it crashes, right?
Exactly. That's why those entry and exit points are so important. And that's why risk management is crucial.
Wow, we've covered a lot of ground already. From what day trading actually is, to finding those stocks in play, to building our toolkit, even touching on some strategies. It's amazing how much information this book packs in.
It really is comprehensive. But there's one more crucial piece we haven't talked about yet. The daily routine and preparation that goes into being a successful day trader.
Okay, I'm all ears. What does a typical day look like for a day trader? Is it all caffeine and adrenaline rushes, staring at screens for hours on end? Spill the beans.
Well, the book walks us through a day in the life of the author. And one thing that's clear is the importance of structure and discipline. It all starts with pre-market scanning, carefully reviewing the news and planning those potential trades before the market even opens.
So it's like a pre-game ritual, getting your mind and your game plan in order before the action starts.
Exactly. And the book emphasizes the importance of focusing on those first 2 hours of trading. That's when the volume's highest, the volatility is greatest.
So it's not about being glued to your screen all day long. It's about being strategic about when you engage.
You got it. And another key part of the routine is journaling. Reflecting on your trades, identifying what's working, what's not.
This is really highlighting that day trading isn't just about luck or gut feelings. It's about building a solid foundation of knowledge, having a plan, and constantly refining your skills. This deep dive is blowing my mind.
It's a lot to absorb, for sure. But we're just getting started. We still need to dive into the psychology of day trading, understanding the mental game, and how to approach it with the right mindset. That's where things get really interesting.
Okay, I'm ready to explore the inner workings of the day trader's mind. Let's talk about the psychology of this high-stakes game.
So we've talked about the tools, the strategies, even how to find those hot stocks. But the thing is, this whole game, it's not just about charts and numbers.
You're right, we touched on emotional control earlier, and it seems like the book really emphasizes that. Why is that such a big deal in day trading?
Well, think about it. You're making split-second decisions, often with a lot of money on the line. Fear and greed, those can take over.
Yeah, I can see how emotions could lead to some bad decisions. Like that saying, bulls make money, bears make money, pigs get slaughtered. Sounds like discipline is what separates the smart traders from the gamblers.
Exactly. And the book makes this interesting comparison between retail traders like us and those big institutional traders.
Oh yeah, the folks working at the firms. What makes their approach different when it comes to emotions?
We're retail traders. We're driven by our own goals, our own emotions. It's our money, our dreams, our fears on the line. But those institutional traders, they're part of a system. They have rules, risk management teams.
So it's more like a machine, a well-oiled machine, designed to minimize those emotional ups and downs. Makes sense.
And the book has this wild story about a trader named Brian Hunter who lost billions, because he kept averaging down on a bad natural gas bet he just couldn't let go.
Wow, talk about emotions getting the better of you.
Right.
Okay, I'm definitely seeing the importance of emotional control now.
It's crucial. Knowing when to walk away, when to cut your losses, not getting greedy. The book highlights all sorts of psychological traps that traders can fall into.
Like what? Give me some examples.
Chasing losses is a big one. Doubling down on a bad trade because you're stubborn, or getting too attached to a winner and holding on too long. And then there's FOMO, the fear of missing out, that can push you into trades you haven't really thought through.
So it's like having a mental checklist before you enter any trade. Asking yourself, am I being greedy? Am I letting fear drive this decision?
That's a great idea. That self-awareness is key. And the book suggests a really helpful tool for developing that: journaling.
They talk about journaling a lot. What's so special about journaling? It seems like more than just keeping track of your trades.
It's about digging deeper, analyzing your decisions, asking yourself, why did I enter this trade? Did I follow my plan? How did my emotions influence me? By journaling, you start to see those patterns in your behavior, those hidden biases that might be tripping you up.
So it's not just about the numbers, it's about understanding the why behind your actions. That makes a lot of sense. But honestly, developing that level of self-discipline, that emotional control, it sounds incredibly tough. Are there any specific techniques the book recommends?
The book has a few suggestions. First, be realistic. Day trading isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. It's a skill, like anything else, and it takes time and effort to develop.
Right. No overnight millionaires here.
Exactly. Focus on the process, not just the outcome. And don't be afraid to reach out for support. Find a mentor. Join a community of traders.
That makes sense. Having someone to bounce ideas off of, to learn from, to share those ups and downs with.
Exactly. Having that support system can make all the difference. And the book talks about the importance of finding a mentor whose style aligns with yours. Someone who can not only teach you the technical stuff, but also help you develop the right mindset.
Finding a good mentor can be tough, though. Any advice on how to find one?
Network. Go to conferences, join online forums, see who resonates with you, and don't be afraid to reach out to traders you admire through their websites, social media. You never know.
So be proactive. Take initiative. I like it. It's encouraging to know that you don't have to figure this all out on your own.
And remember, be a good student, be respectful, be open to feedback, don't be afraid to ask questions.
It's a two-way street, right? You're building a relationship, not just passively absorbing information. This is really shifting my perspective on day trading. It's not just about charts and patterns. It's about mastering your mind, having the right support, and building that mental toughness.
It's a journey, for sure.
Mhm.
And this book provides a great roadmap, but it also raises some interesting questions that go beyond its pages. Questions that get you thinking about the bigger picture.
Ooh, like what? I'm intrigued.
Well, we've talked about the human element, but one thing that struck me is the role of technology. Those high-frequency trading algorithms we discussed, if they're already so dominant, how will AI and machine learning impact day trading in the future?
That's a great question. Will human traders even be able to compete with these super smart machines? Will the game get even faster, even more complex?
It's definitely something to consider.
Yeah.
And it highlights the importance of not just learning the technical skills, but also developing that adaptability, that critical thinking, that ability to thrive in a constantly changing environment.
This deep dive has been incredible. It's really opened my eyes to the world of day trading. It's not for the faint of heart, but for those who are willing to put in the work, it can be a rewarding, albeit challenging, opportunity.
Absolutely. And while this book gives us a great foundation, it also reminds us that the learning never stops. The market is always evolving, and successful traders are those who evolve with it.
So, beyond the book, what are some concrete steps someone can take to start putting these ideas into practice? What would you recommend for someone who's listening to this and thinking, okay, I'm ready to give this a shot. Where do I begin?
Well, that's a perfect segue into the next part of our deep dive. The book actually lays out a very practical roadmap for aspiring day traders, outlining those first steps and offering guidance on how to navigate those early stages of your journey.
Hmm.
Ready to explore that roadmap?
Absolutely. Let's dive into the nitty-gritty of getting started in the world of day trading. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground, right? The mental game, the strategies, the risks. But let's get practical. If someone's listening to this thinking, all right, I want to try this day trading thing, where do I even begin? What's step one?
The book is really great about this. It lays out a clear path, and the first step is all about simulated trading.
Simulated trading, huh? So like a practice version of the stock market, no real money involved.
Exactly. You're using virtual money, but the market data is real time. It's like training wheels for day traders.
I like that. A safe space to learn the ropes, make mistakes without losing your shirt.
Exactly. And a lot of platforms offer these simulators for free, so you can experiment, try different strategies, get a feel for how it all works.
That's awesome. Okay, so let's say you've put in some time in the simulator, you're starting to feel comfortable. What's next?
Then it's time to create your trading plan. This is crucial. You don't want to just jump into the market and wing it.
Right. We talked about those if-then scenarios, having a plan for different situations, taking the emotion out of it, no more gut feelings. It's all about the strategy.
Exactly. Your trading plan should also include your risk management rules. How much are you willing to lose on a single trade? What's your overall risk tolerance? Having those boundaries in place is key.
It's like setting a budget before you go shopping. Right. Knowing how much you can spend so you don't go overboard.
That's a great analogy. It's about protecting yourself, making sure you don't get carried away. Discipline is key in this game.
This is all making me realize how organized and meticulous you have to be a successful day trader. It's not just about intuition, it's about having a system and sticking to it.
Absolutely. The book has some great tips on how to structure your trading plan, what to consider, how to track your progress, and it talks about keeping a trading journal, which we've mentioned before.
Yeah, that journaling thing seems really important. It's about becoming more aware of your own behavior, right? Recognizing those patterns, those emotional triggers.
It's all about self-reflection, learning from your mistakes, refining your approach.
Okay, so I've got the simulator, the trading plan, the journal. Anything else someone should be thinking about when they're first starting out?
Don't go all in right away. Start small, with an amount of capital you're comfortable risking. You're going to make mistakes, everyone does. Better to make them with a smaller account while you're learning.
Right. Don't bet the farm on your first trade. It's like learning to swim. Start in the shallow end, get comfortable, then gradually venture out deeper.
Exactly. Starting small minimizes your risk and allows you to focus on learning.
And speaking of learning, we talked about the importance of ongoing education. The market's always changing, so how do you stay ahead of the curve? What does the book recommend?
There are so many resources out there. Online courses, trading communities, mentorship programs. The book even suggests attending conferences and workshops.
Wow, so it's like a constant learning process. You're always expanding your knowledge, refining your skills, adapting to the market.
Exactly. You're a student of the market, always learning, always growing, It's one of the things that makes day trading so fascinating. It's a constant challenge.
This deep dive has been incredible. We've learned so much about the ins and outs of day trading, from the technical stuff to the mental game to the importance of ongoing learning.
It's been a pleasure exploring this with you.
I feel like we've only scratched the surface, but it's definitely given me a much deeper understanding of what day trading is really all about. It's definitely not for everyone, but for those who are up for the challenge, it can be an exciting and potentially rewarding path.
Well said.
To everyone listening, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of day trading. We hope you've enjoyed the journey and learned a thing or two along the way. Remember, knowledge is power, and in the world of finance, the more you know, the better equipped you'll be to make smart decisions.
Happy trading, everyone.